Welcome to the CondoVultures.com podcast with your host, Peter Zalewski, a Miami real estate broker, Wall Street consultant, and expert witness. This podcast is focused on identifying real estate buying opportunities in the South Florida condo market of Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. The CondoVultures.com podcast is not authorized by the South Florida real estate industry and will most likely annoy many of the region's talking heads. This podcast will feature straight talk and salty language that could be offensive to some. Please remember that past investment success does not determine future gains, especially in South Florida's volatile condo market. For more information, please visit CondoVultures.com.
Welcome to the Miami Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Peter Zalewski of Condo Vultures. We're going to be talking about individual condos in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties for this particular segment. So we'll be looking at all condos, regardless of price, and looking at them just on a kind of a widespread basis. So what do we got going on in the market today right now in South Florida? Well, looks like there's just over 12,000 condos available for sale. The average asking price for one of these condos is coming in at just under $1.1 million. So this is the crappy, shitty ones in the terrible neighborhoods, as well as the most expensive ones in the exclusive areas. But overall, the average asking price is just under $1.1 million. Now, what does it work out to on a price per square foot basis, which is really what I recommend you sort of focus on if you're looking to buy a condo. Don't look at price per unit or price per door. That can be misleading because a lot of times people will go in and try to purchase something or sell something based on a particular number, but it doesn't necessarily reflect the fact that a condominium is a commodity. It's no different than gasoline, no different than orange juice, any other commodity. That's really what a condominium is. Now, some people decide to upgrade and over-improve their places and others don't, but generally speaking, it's all pretty much the same. You can figure out pricing based on what the view is, based on what the floor is. It's all just a lot of stats versus a house, for instance, which is more like a work of art because the layout could be different. The size of the house could be different in terms of, is it one floor, is it two floors, what else, anything else that might be going on versus a condominium, which they all tend to be the same within a particular complex. So condo is commodity, house is work of art, and therefore there's a difference. So when you're talking condos, only look at price per square foot. So average asking price for condo in Tri-County, South Florida area, $616 a foot. And then the average number of days on the market for those condos that are available right now in South Florida, they've been sitting there for about 110 days. 110 is the number of days they've been on the market. Now, in terms of transactions, what's going on currently? Well, right now there's just under 2,500 units that are available for sale in South Florida. Average asking price about $674,000. Now, keep in mind, the asking price for those units which are not yet under contract is about 1.1 million. But the units that are under contract right now, known as pending sales, their average price is about $673,300. Now, what is that price per square foot? About $418 a foot. $418 a foot compared to $616 a foot for the asking price. And then finally, the units under contract, they were only on the market 58 days before they went under contract versus the current average for listed condominiums for sale of 110 days. So you can see appropriately priced condos are probably going to go under contract relatively quick compared to what the current asking price or current number of days in the market is for condo South Florida. And then finally, first 9 months of 2022, so this would be January through September, you had slightly over 35,400 units that traded. These are transactions for condominiums, 35,400. Average sales price, just under $650,000 a door or per unit versus the average asking price today of $1.1 million. So you can see there's some inflated prices out there, generally speaking. Now, some people will push back. They'll say, well, these are luxury and that's really what's for sale. I'm kind of looking at it on a macro basis to give you some context as to what's going on in the market. Average sales price in 2022 for a condo in South Florida, $408 a foot, $408 a foot versus the average asking price today, $616 a foot. And those units that did trade in the first 9 months of 2022, they traded in 105 days, 105 versus, again, the properties that are on the market today, they've been sitting there 110 days. So they're on average on the market longer than those units that actually transacted and went through the process in 2022. Now, a couple statistics to keep in mind. the difference between the average asking price for a condo in South Florida versus the average transaction price of a condo in South Florida is about 67%. So there's a premium that's really being sought in terms of those people trying to sell. What we find basically in our experience is typically a condo will, if it's under 20% of difference in terms of the average asking price and the average transaction price within a marketplace, you'll probably get some interest. And once it gets somewhere in that 10 to 15% difference between the average asking price and the average transaction price, you tend to see a deal. So when I see a 67% difference in terms of asking price versus average transaction price, that means prices are very much inflated. Now, why would they be inflated? They're inflated because we're beginning our winter tourism season, which typically runs from late November or Thanksgiving holiday in the United States. And it runs all the way through sometime in April or so, typically peg it to religious holidays like Easter and or Passover. So 67% difference in price per door in South Florida for a condo. Now, what's going on a price per square foot basis? About a 51% difference. As mentioned, $616 a foot is the average asking price today. $408 a foot is what units traded for in the first 9 months of the year. And then finally, days on market. Those condos that traded in South Florida, they traded in 105 days in the first 9 months of the year. The ones that were going to actually trade, and the average number of days in the market for those condos for sale is about 110. Two other little categories to take away before we take a commercial break. In the first 9 months of this year, there were an average of 3,935 condos that traded per month. 3,935 is the number of condos traded per month. So if we take that average sales pace of 3,935, we divide it on what's currently on the market, which is 12,000 condos, we got about 3.1 months of supply, 3.1 months of supply. Now, this is a good indicator as to what's going on in the marketplace. Typically, equilibrium will be 6 months. So anything greater than 6 months in terms of supply means there's more product than buyers. And anything less than 6 months means there's more buyers than sellers. So right now, according to the statistics, and just a rule of thumb of a 6-month equilibrium, in South Florida has 3.1 months of supply. That would indicate that this is a seller's market in South Florida, but it will also indicate that the price differential between what is currently asking for a condo versus what condos are trading for is dramatic. And then finally, days on market, those units for sale, they're sitting on the market longer than when it took in the first 9 months of the year to sell one of these condos. So
don't buy a South Florida condo, discounted or distressed, before taking a Condo Vultures correction tour. CondoVultures.com offers weekly bus and walking tours that focus on educating buyers on the how-tos of identifying discounted condos, analyzing the opportunities, and purchasing units. Every tour attendee receives a list of all condo projects in a particular market, a market assessment handout, and unmatched expert analysis. For more information on the condo correction tours, please visit condovultures.eventbrite.com.